Hello. Welcome to this special edition of Perspective 254. My name is Ajeliti Kesa, and as usual, before tuanze, please go down there, see that subscribe button, click on it, do the thing, and then come back and let us do the show. Today, we take a small break from discussing serious issues to do a special segment that I would like to call the joke of the day. Our focus today is on a joke of a first-time politician, first-time MP that just got elected in parliament in this last year's past elections. Now, I'm sure when I say a joke of a politician in Kenya, several names come to mind, right? Yeah, definitely, because Kenya is full of such jokes in our political circles. It would not take a genius to find one such joke in either our parliament, senate, cabinet, or any other space where politics is played in Kenya. Maybe you're thinking about this guy. Or you're thinking about this guy, who once said that the government is like a private company with shareholders, and those of us, those who voted for Kenya Kwanza, should get to eat first before anybody else does. Or you're thinking about these two guys here, who once got into an actual physical fight in parliament buildings. Or maybe you're thinking about this guy who once said that Kenyans should add GMO to the list of things that could kill them because there are so many things that can kill Kenyans. Or you're thinking about this guy hapa. Hata sijui nianzie wapi. Well, if you're thinking about any of those guys, you might not be too far off the mark. In Kenya's political circles, such clowns come a dime a dozen. There are plenty to choose from. Lots and lots and lots of them. But today, we are not talking about any of those guys. We have a special case when it comes to a joke of a politician. Someone whose name has been all over the news, and not for a good reasons, ever since he was elected to parliament in last year's elections. Our joke of the day today is none other than, drumroll, boom, Mr. Peter Kalerwa Salasya, the MP for Mias East constituency. We all remember this clip from a couple of months ago when a journalist asked Mr. Salasya his views on the climate summit that was taking place at the KICC. If you have not had a chance to watch this video, well, this right here could be the best 90 seconds of your day. You're welcome.
Mheshimiwa, welcome to SPM Bus. Maybe you can tell us what is happening today at KICC.
As we all aware is that it's climate change, yeah, right? Because you feel like, by the way, climate change is real because of the global warming. I think I was in Mombasa last week and it was so cold. So I asked them, what's not happening? They told me it's because of ati ice, ati jua imekuwa mingi, ice ina melt, ikisha melt, so nini inakuwa baridi. So global climate is real, and whatever people are going to be told here, if they are going to implement, well, for the sake of the country.
You as Mheshimiwa, how are you championing for climate change?
Okay, climate change, we have, like we know, we are a representative of the rural constituencies. And now being from the rural constituencies, they use most of the time kuni, and now we are advocating for use coco chico and other things like those ones. Gas, hizo za, hizo ndio vitu tuna, but now because again another challenge is hawana pesa ya kununua. So unapata like it's becoming a challenge. But we are hoping the government will come up with measures on how venye wamesema wanataka reduce your tax ya nini gas itasaidia.
Do you have maybe a proposed plan maybe to help government campaign for the African climate change?
We are going to submit. We have a plan. Youth in my constituency have the proposals. They are very creative. So we are going to forward for them and see how they can be funded and implement.
Tumeona rais wetu aliweza kuendesha gari electrical car. Maybe moving forward, are you planning maybe to buy one maybe so that you can use it?
Nikipata nanunua ya stima. Natafuta.
All right. Shukran sana Mheshimiwa.
Asante sana. Yeah.
Also, could you just please give some respect to this guy right here? The guy standing right behind him for trying his level best not to laugh. The guy really did try. Alijaribu kabisa, lakini mwishowe ikakataa kabisa. He had to move out of the camera view, achilie kicheko ndio arudi. As expected, Mr. Salasya, of course, found himself on the receiving end of extensive ridicule by Kenyans because of this video, right? And his response to this was, he tweeted this: "All those idiots criticizing me on Twitter on how I responded about the climate change, wakwende huko na kizungu yao." Wasimame kura pia wawe bunge in their constituencies. Politics ni local. Wakwende na kizungu yao huko. I was not elected to talk about climate change. Idiots. Munisikie. Now, this was not Mr. Salasya's first rodeo in the headlines. The guy has had his fair share of moments in the spotlight ever since getting elected in parliament. Even way before Mr. Salasya gave us this nugget of wisdom on climate change and how it is called in Mombasa because the ice is melting. He was already a notorious presence on the internet. You know, the youthful first-term MP has made a name for himself, interminably causing controversy inside and outside of parliament. Our good Mheshimiwa's middle name is actually Kalerwa, which is just one letter from the Sheng word Kalerwa. You're all familiar with the word Kalerwa, right? You're all familiar with the word Kalerwa, right? No? Well, if you're not, then let me enlighten you all, folks. Kalerwa is basically a Sheng word that implies someone who is a little too fond of the bottle. Anapenda kupewa. It is almost as if Mr. Salasya was preordained at birth to be what he is today. As evidence all over internet suggests, I would suggest Mr. Kalerwa is actually a huge Kalerwa. Now, I know a few buddies of mine who are intimately familiar with that word and of course also with the bottle. But sitataja mtu. So guys, you can chill, you know. If you're worried, yeah, atanisema. Sample these videos, right? Not to judge him too harshly on this, I'm sure we all have our little guilty pleasures every now and then. The only difference between this joker right here and the rest of the civilized world is we do not go displaying on the internet when we are in our least favorable state. Ukilewa enda lala, usijiweke kwa internet. So, who exactly is this guy? Well, Mr. Kalerwa was born in 1989 as Peter Kalerwa Salasya, and then he started his political journey early, diving into campus politics during his first year at Egerton University. Fast forward to 2017, and he takes a shot at the national politics, aiming for the Mumias East MP seat, the one that he currently occupies. He did not exactly break any records during that contest. He came in dead last with a whopping 254 votes, like Perspective 254. Lack of resources, he says. His campaign strategy during that contest was attending funerals and contributing a grand total of 200 shillings at every funeral. Not exactly a high-budget blockbuster. So that makes sense. And then, as the 2022 elections came around, Mr. Salasya was at it again. And this time, it looks like he was the darling of the Mumias East voters. He miraculously pulled off a win, and he has been in the headlines ever since. Just in the last 1 year, ever since he got elected into parliament, Mr. Salasya has found himself, or rather posted himself online on various drunken videos, looking all drunk, looking all wasted, got into actual physical fights with his constituents. He has had his car windshield broken. He's been sued for not paying a $500,000 shilling debt to a one-time associate. He's been accused of defaulting on 165 shilling loan from Diamond Trust Bank. He has been accused of threatening to kill a magistrate after he lost a court case, and he has gotten on Twitter fights with anyone that dares speak negatively about him in any way. But on top of all this, the dude has just given us a goldmine of videos on who he is as a person, most of which do not, by any stretch of imagination, paint him as worthy of the title Mheshimiwa. And speaking of Twitter, or as they call it X these days, here is a sample of some of his engagements with a few of his followers on Twitter. Some of the language from this honorable MP is too crude to even be able to say on a public domain like this. So we will just, I'm not going to say it, but check out this sample. But even with a string of controversies hanging around his neck, a recent poll by Infotrack surprisingly ranked Mr. Salasya as among the top performing young MPs in the country, coming in at a whopping position 4. That's very impressive. Despite that though, apparently Mr. Salasya here does not intend to run for a second term as MP for Mumias East because he has bigger plans, he has bigger dreams come next elections. Mumias East ni kitu ndogo sana. I don't think he stood a chance of winning that second term even if he tried though. That's just my opinion. He's been described in plenty of places as a one-term MP. I am very much inclined to agree with that analysis of Mr. Salasya being a one-time MP, whether he likes it or not. Now, the dude is talking about running for governor of Kakamega County. Talk about delusions of grandeur. Well, in my humble opinion, based on his public record over the last year, the chances of him winning the Kakamega gubernatorial seat in 2027 is as good as the good book says, a camel going through the eye of a needle. This has been our joke of the day. Thanks for watching. My name is J. Kesa. Let's do this again next time. Cheers.